Namaste to Guruji. Jai Guruji, Aunty.
Good morning, Jai Guruji.
Morning.
So when an individual forgives or blesses somebody with a true heart, the dirt of past experiences clinging to the aura gets cleansed, and the aura does not carry the past hurt and angst and the need for justice. There are times when we're carrying so many emotions unknowingly in our aura itself, and that blocks the positive energy from permeating us. So Rabda asks, Baba, I do not get this concept of charity. Rabda, you are too kind to yourself. Why just the concept of charity? There is very little you understand of any concept. Saying this, Baba chuckled like a little boy, and Rabda grimaced, and then both the men began to laugh. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will open to you. Rabda, basically, they all mean the same, and all these phrases are they not mentioned in the Bible? I guess so, but I do not understand them, says Rabda. Basically, what do these phrases or assurance mean? One and the same thing, that Allah, God, Devi, Deva, the other, is most generous and merciful. Okay, let us start with the phrase ask and you shall receive. What does this mean? Ask and you shall receive. Seems a paradox, and most humans keep asking, and most often they do not receive anything. Seek and you shall find, and knock and it will open to you. Mean the same. If you truly ask, you shall receive what you are asking for. Well, there are two pillars to this phrase, which many do not realize. Oh boy, here we go again. So listen, Vishay wonder, and keep your mouth shut, says Baba Sai to Rabda. So, my dear brainless child who keeps trying to kill himself, the first component of this phrase is ask. The simple word ask seems such a humble, silent, meek word, but no, it contains all the goodness of heaven and all the entrapments of hell and beyond. Providence is all benevolent. It wants to give you everything that can ascend you to the depth and merger with the one. It wants to give you everything that can help you move beyond the entrapments of illusion and make you soar to the seventh dimension of liberation. So, the most kind and benevolent and all merciful and all just Fakir wants you to ask for the springboard that can make you ascend to the very level of the one. We all come from him, and eventually our place is to merge with him. So ask and plead and beg and yearn and cry each moment of your existence for help, love, blessings, grace, to move beyond duality and into oneness, as God is all merciful and most generous. Thus ask and he or she will give you what you want. There are no two doubts about this. But ask for the right things, Bachcha. As when you ask for the right things, automatically you're making your priority clear to the cosmos. You ask, seek, knock for help, grace, protection, calmness, strength, courage, joy, love. It means you need all these gifts to be centered, to go through your lot with complete positive surrender and acceptance. Thus, making the one happy and proud of you. By seeking centeredness to go through your lot calmly and wisely, you are sending a very clear message to the cosmos that your priority is to serve and make the one happy and proud of your very breath and essence and conduct and very being. So therefore, it's important to ask for the real deal, like Guru used to say, कहंदे लोकी मंगदे तो बहुत ने, पर दुनिया दी चीज़ां मंगदे रहंदे ने. But here, Baba Sai says, do ask, but ask for calmness, ask for wisdom and strength to go through the lot that we are inevitably going to go through. So if one knocks at the doors of heaven for purity, calmness, wisdom, strength, to not go through one's lot gracefully, but to help others to go through their lot gracefully, the Lord opens the doors of heaven to you. To not only go through one's lot, but to help others to go through their lot, to do that seva. This only means you are asking for something with the firm and clear intent that you want to walk the path. Like we discussed in previous chapters, we want to walk the talk, we want to walk the path, ascend beyond the laws of cause and effect, and that your sole priority is to serve the Master and the One, and thus move closer and closer to the source and eventually merge with Him. So ask, knock, seek mean the same things and are very powerful words. In fact, the most powerful words you'll ever hear. Extremely powerful, but it works both ways. Ask can become a ruthlessly self-destructive word too. So this is conversely. First, if you ask for the real deal, it is constructive. But if you ask for the wrong things, if you ask for things that take you away and further from the One, and if you start seeking things that are going to further entrench you in the karmic suffocation, if you knock on the door for something that causes somebody else pain and grief or destruction, if you ask, for instance, for power and wealth for the wrong reasons, it is going to bind your legs, gag your mouth, strap your arms for lifetimes and karmic ramifications. So also, if you ask, seek, knock for anything other than what brings you closer to the One, your intent sends a message to the cosmos that your priority is not your guru or your One, the God, but everything else. I know you're not sleeping, Rabda, so stop trying to get smart with science. So here is a very profound message for everyone. Like Guruji, when he used to say, Manno Mangune, because we don't know what to ask for. But when we do ask, we must ask for the things that bring us closer to Him, right? So whether it's actually courage to go through the storms so that we can clear our karmic lot and draw ourselves closer to Him. So, my dears, I hope you got the first part of the phrase, ask and you shall receive, knock and it will open to you, and seek and you shall find. Now comes the latter part of the phrase, receive, open, and find. What you receive or find or will open to you is simple. It is whatever you have asked, sought, or knocked on the door for. The cosmos is going to grant all that you want and all that you pray, all you seek, and every time you knock on the doors of heaven, sooner or later the doors will open. With consistent prayer, consistent commitment to the prayer, will eventually make the doors open. If you have not asked, sought, or knocked on the doors for the right reason, for the true oneness reason, for being blessed with grace and wisdom, but for reasons that take you away from the One, then you and your asking, seeking, knocking is going to entrench you in the sinking sands of Maya and Karma, illusions and the laws of cause and effect. So we're going back a few steps. So many say, we come to Guruji, we've been coming for years, we take one step forward, but then life takes us 2 steps back. So we need to observe ourselves and say, well, okay, what am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing? And what is it that will take me further onto the right path? And if you have asked for the right reasons, then you can be assured that in this lifetime or the next, sometime or the other, your asking, seeking, knocking is going to bear fruit. So these phrases seem simple and sometimes even too good to be true. But the fact is, this is the foundation of spirituality. Be careful. The path of spirituality has many landmines. Only a true master can take you through the field without your being blown into smithereens. So what is charity? There are many fakes going on asking for help, seeking money, knocking on the door for all kinds of assistance. What does one do? And how does one know who is true or not? So, Baba Latavoli, okay, let me start by making it clear that there are 3 reasons for compassion through giving, co-charity. The one true reason for giving selflessly is because it is the most noble thing to do. It brings a smile on your master's face. It makes the angels sing. The heavens pray for you and God proud of you. So Guruji used to say all the time, "Daan kita karo." Jabi, even if it's a small, like I said yesterday, a loaf of bread, or it's a Monday and you want to donate samosas to the laborers in your neighborhood, give them biscuits, give them tea, whatever small or big you want to um, do it anyway. Just give. I say this with all honesty. Nothing makes someone more happy. I'm proud of a child who gives selflessly, without agenda, without a motive, just for the glory of giving. Nothing makes God bless you and the angels pray for you more than when you indulge in an act of charity. So the only reason you should help others in the form of either money, food, clothes, education, medicine, shelter, time, kindness, a smile. So time for our elders, particularly, time for somebody who needs your time, kindness, a smile, a helping hand, by just being a shoulder to cry on or a sounding board, for somebody to pour out their frustrations and sorrow and in countless other forms is because it makes the one happy and proud of you. And prayers are said for your well being by angels, not only for you, but your family and loved ones of this life, past lives, and future lives. There is a congregation of angels who do nothing but pray for the well being of selfless helpers and their loved ones. Imagine 40,000 angels praying for you every time you indulge in selfless charity. How beautiful. So there are 40,000 angels praying for us every time we give something. But be mindful when Guruji used to say, don't listen to too much of negative spilling out of anybody who wants to make you a sounding board. Because there, if we are not being able to take him towards Guruji, because there are many times in my past I was newly connected to Guruji, and there were friends of mine who were going through, some issues, either in their marriage or whatever. And I would listen to them every morning for an hour, 2 hours. I would indulge them. Then one day Guruji said, "Tu bahut loka di negativity na nahi, apni sehli di any negativity na sunya kar, because tenu asar hunda." And it was. I felt sick because I was listening and it was draining me. My energy was falling, and I would always keep giving her advice. And so much energy was expended. He used to say, "Lokanu mere na jodo. Tu ki kar sakni hai kisi vaste? Main karang. Tu sirf mere ko leke aa." So this is one thing we must learn. This is also a form of charity. If we can connect people who are not already connected to Guruji, bring them to Bada Mandir, take them for a satsang, and that is the biggest seva you can do, because you are connecting them for lifetimes. So now I will further. It means to give because to selflessly give or charity means that it means to give because you can feel the angst and tribulation of those in need of assistance, right? It means to give as we are all one and are connected more intimately than what is obvious. So we all connected to the one. So therefore, reaching out is important. It means to give because when a child goes to sleep hungry, shivering, or without medicine or shelter, you feel you have let God down because you can give. It means to give without the fear or wrath of God and without the need for praise or even blessings from God. So give selflessly and unconditionally. Masters and angels, to just give as it is the right thing to do and to come from a place of compassion and empathy than from pity and well-clothed conceit. It means to give and yet you feel you have done nothing, contributed a drop in the ocean, and actually silently apologize to the cosmos for not being able to do more. It means to make the one you are helping or giving feel as though he or she is doing you a favor by accepting your gift or largeness of heart, never the other way. So never oblige the other person when you give. When you give like this, 40,000 angels gather and pray for your well being and the well being of your loved ones. past, present, future for those in the physical plane. So whatever we do, charity, whichever form, it impacts our children also, because we are collecting good karma uh, into our karmic bank. The more selfless you love, the greater happiness all around. So, I mean, I'm really skipping some abuses here, it's in jest, but it's not relevant. So, Allah, have mercy and give me strength to abstain from the highest pleasure of breaking this child's vacant head. Anyway, so when I said whoever feeds the poor feeds me, and this is the obvious truth. So when we feed a poor person, when we give money to a charity that's feeding the old people, we are actually pleasing and feeding God. It also means that whoever helps the poor helps me. Whoever clothes the poor clothes me. Whoever educates the poor educates me. Whoever takes care of the ailing helps me recover good health faster. So, so to get to the point again, sitting in the masjid, I shall never ever speak the untruth. So, okay, bacha, if you take care of the poor, you are taking care of me in more ways than you will ever know. So this is the first reason to help and give. This is the first and last reason to help and give. But apart from having the angels pray for you and making your master and God happy and proud of you, there are other two benefits of giving selfless. So listen. So, the first important thing that charity or selfless giving does is to work on your karma. So anything we do, it comes back to karma. Karma is very powerful, the law of cause and effect. There are many laws, right, that govern our lives. The law of attraction, the law of, karma, of course, the law of thinking also, the positive thoughts, whatever we emit, we get back. So there are many laws, many more than I mentioned. And this is one of them, the cause of effect, cause and effect. So Guruji used to say, "Toate karam बुरे कर्म कम होते हैं जब आप देते हो." So he couldn't stress enough on gupt dan, and it really needs to be gupt. Today's world, where we are showing off that I'm giving this, I'm doing this, it doesn't really help. It doesn't really please the angels and the gods. So really keep it gupt. This is between you and the universe and the Supreme One. Remember, I had said that karma one has to go through, right? Well, selfless giving, again, the stress is not giving to work out your karma, not giving to make the angels sing, but just selfless giving also helps to work out your karma. Exactly Guruji's words. So, very often karma is nothing but action, thought, word, or intent created by ignorance and selfishness. It is very often accumulated hurt, pain, humiliation, and anger collected over lifetimes and now directed towards the concerned individual. So he experiences the very same feelings and situations as he has knowingly or unknowingly caused pain to innumerable people through the journey of life. So if somebody has hurt you, your heart has hurt, and from the depths of your soul, pain has ensued for many lifetimes, right? And you have the need for justice. A lot of us feel like this when somebody's hurt us. We feel, when will that person pay the price? Or when will we get justice for all the pain that has been caused to us? You can rest assured that whoever has hurt you, deceived you, or done you wrong will have to experience the very same, and with compound interest, either in this particular lifetime or beyond. But let us say, for whatever reason, in that particular lifetime or in the next or whenever, you yourself bless that person, pray for his well being, forgive him. And when you bless and pray for an individual on a higher level, it means you have forgiven that person. Then there is no hurt, no anger, no need for retribution. in the person's aura anymore. And thus you have been absolved or released of the karmic blueprint and the karmic entrapment. So again, forgiveness is very important. So whoever's hurt us in the past, it may be your spouse, it may be your child, it's always the near-day ones, it may be your sibling. Whoever has hurt us, we must learn to forgive, because if we don't, we will carry the resentment and anger in our aura for lifetimes. And we have to come back again to absolve that same hurt through a different situation. So karma pops its ugly head lifetime after lifetime. Why this happens is because selflessly you gave without any agenda, and who knows, you gave that very individual that caused you pain in some lifetime, and you helped the descendant of the individual you have wronged. And now, because of your selfless deed, the individual you have wronged has knowingly or unknowingly let go of the grudge and hate and pain. So it can work both ways. You could have hurt the other person too. The person could have caused you pain, but you could have also caused the other person pain. So let go of the grudge and hate and pain caused lifetimes ago, and instead prayed for your well-being. So imagine you just never know, by a small act of kindness, what a huge favor you have in reality done to yourself and to your loved ones. The karma, cause and effect, all hurt, all experiences, their impact are in the aura of every individual. We have the physical body, right? This is the physical body. Then we have the astral body, then the causal body. So the causal body is which retains all our emotions, negative and positive. Each religion will give you these bodies various names. The physical contains all to do with the physical, the astral all to do with the emotional, causal all to do with mental, and mainly, as the word suggests, causal, cause and effect, karma. When an individual forgives, now this is an example, or blesses somebody with a true heart, the dirt, the filth of the past experiences clinging to the aura gets cleansed, and the aura no longer carries the past hurt and angst and the need for justice. So sometimes I feel by just attending satsangs, doing the mantra jap, remembering Guruji, our aura gets cleansed, right? So when it gets cleansed, automatically our resentment, anger, bitterness towards those who hurt us, it gets kind of mitigated. Okay, it gets mitigated, and eventually it dissolves. Once that happens, both the people who may have had that lena dena, as we call it, give and take with each other, are freed from that experience. Thus, one is freed from some unpleasant experience in the future. Let us say you've done something selflessly, but it has not touched the person who wants consciously or karmically to create another hole in your anatomy. Then, too, the blessings of those you have helped sort of create a cushion, a wall of protection, so that when karma strikes, the intensity of the blow is reduced. As there are people praying for your well-being and safety, prayers that have come from a heart filled with gratitude and love play the role of a serene oasis when walking through the desert and hot sands of the laws of give and take, to take rest and to be comforted. You are still in the karmic desert, but because of all those you have helped, the desert is dotted with small oases. When you can take a bit of rest, drink cool water, sit under the shade, and be comforted, the desert still is very much there, and all its influences very much prevalent, but the small oasis can mean a matter of life and death, so to speak. Also, the blessings of prayers of all those who one has helped, along with the blessings and prayers of the angels, created a beautiful pathway when one has left the physical body. So, they always say, and Guruji used to say, Ma Baap ki hamesha blessings lo. So when we again do seva for our parents and we take care of them in their old age, their blessings really touch our lives, truly. They permeate the karmic, causal and astral body, and things start changing for us. So the Guruji always used to say, Lokandi duai lo, but duai na lo. So do good, always smile to everybody, be kind to every kind, and just see unknowingly, we are receiving so many blessings. A lot of help is given in the spirit plane. And then, of course, the most important thing, your future lives, either in the physical dimension or the spirit dimension, is taken care of in a profoundly substantial manner. Prayers and blessings which come from a true heart that has been helped form a fortress around the individual, and it goes a long, long way. So what we have learned is what Guruji used to say again, that ek to charity karo, daan karo, that also helps us to go through or mitigate the karmic account. So we are clearing our karmic account or karmic debts by giving, and give selflessly. Not that, oh, I'm giving and I hope Guruji is watching right now. Just give selflessly for the sake of giving from a compassionate heart. So, and secondly, know that forgiveness also enables us to dissolve any future behavior patterns that we may encounter. So a simple act of giving makes the one and the masters and the angels so happy. And there must be something very profound, something very spiritual, and something very pure in the act of giving. Andan sabse bada daan. So feeding somebody who's hungry is very profound, and it has a profound effect on us. So something very pure in the act of giving, that you have the heavens applauding and showers blessings and prayers on you. Then it works on your karma and either settles accounts or shields you with a protective blanket so that you're able to face your karmic blueprint with calmness. So again, the calmness is what is actually the highest gift, in the sense that Guruji gives us to be able to go through that, you can say, the desert, the hot sand, or the storm. He gives us the oasis in a desert, or he gives us the calmness. He anchors us. So whenever we're going through the storm, it's important to take shelter in his charan. इसलिए कहते हैं हमेशा कि गुरुजी अपने चरणों में रखना. Because by being there, we are gradually becoming calmer, stronger, wiser to go through whatever lot we have to go through. Karma, nobody can escape, as Guruji used to say. Karma to kaatne hai, par main tuada haath pakde hue hai. So that's most important. So most of what is known about me is what happened 10 years before I left my physical shell. Till 10 years after my passing away, says Baba Sai, Shirdi was a small village, and once in a while, few people from nearby villages and towns and cities would visit. But those who came over came out of love for me, or out of regard for my spirituality. Simple people came to me, Rabda. Very simple people, poor people. Those who went through life just keeping their heads above water, keeping their bodies and souls together, trying their best to live a life with dignity and respect. They did not seek much from me, but blessings, some guidance, some healing, and simple predictions. I was, for most people, a Muslim Sufi. You see, my being in Shirdi had 4 phases. The first phase was when I first arrived in the shell for a little while. Then I went away and came back to Shirdi nearly 4 years later in 1858. Then for nearly 30 years, I was barely known anywhere. This is Baba Sai speaking. But amongst those who lived in Shirdi and surrounding areas, and Sufis and yogis who came to meet me and be guided through me, they would quietly go away after spending a little time with me. So for 30 years, I lived a life doing a lot of work in the spirit plane. But in the physical plane, I was sort of considered a Muslim fakir. Then, in the year 1886, I decided to leave the body. But my leaving the body is in the hands of God. My body was exhausted. I was just taking on the misery and negativity of my loved ones who lived in Shirdi and beyond. So again, we can resonate to this when Shirdi Sai Baba was taking on the karma of his devotees. Guruji was doing the same thing in the physical, when he was in the physical plane, in the physical body. He was taking on our karmas. So one day, Guruji said to me when I had skin cancer, and Guruji blessed me, he said, मैं तेरा skin cancer अपने ते ले लेता and मैं एक हफ्ता खून दी मतलब वॉमिट किया, मैं बहुत बीमार रहा एक हफ्ता. So Guruji would take on the burdens of people's illnesses. He took on the burden of my illness, and for that the body does become weak, because Mahapurushes come and descend the earth to, of course, uplift mankind, to teach us the way, to enable us to walk the path. But what happens by them taking on our karma, their bodies become weak. And when Guruji said, मैं सब दे कर्म अपने ते लन्ना, but हून मैं बहुत मेरी संगत बढ़ जाएगी, and which of course he prophesied and he ordained, then his body was not enough. He had to go into the spiritual plane so that he could do Jagat Kalyan. And this is what Guruji is doing. He's splashing his sparkles of light and love and healing on everybody today. So I was doing a lot in the spirit world, helping my devotees, many of whom had not even heard of me. I was always tired of the body. I wanted to move towards my fakir. I knew it would require 3 days for me to make the final decision of either staying in the spirit plane or returning into the body. But 3 days later, I came back into the body, and people started coming now from all over. But still, the people came in a trickle. Like when we used to go, it was a trickle. People used to come in a trickle. Very few and far between people used to come to Guruji. But now it's not a trickle. Now it's an outpouring of Sangat coming into Guruji's charan all over the world. It is global. So I would have enough time to myself and with my people. Then Das Gannu went all over the country and began to sing my songs and praise, and thus from 1908, 10 years before I left my body, my children from all over began to come. It is such a similar journey. Shirdi Sai Baba came back then, and he left in 1918, as we discussed earlier. He left after the First World War. And now then, after that, Guruji was born. So, masters keep descending the earth to help us to sort out our karmas. They are all giving, all merciful. They want to just give. Like Guruji said, मैं तो देन आया, पर तुहानू लेना नहीं आंदा. तुसी दुनिया दी चीज़ां विच फसे होए. असली चीज़ कोई मंगदा ही नहीं. सो असली चीज़ है रब से रब मांग लो, और साथ साथ हिम्मत मांगो, strength मांगो, wisdom मांगो, to go through whatever it is that we have to go through. And we have to go through it again and again. I had breast cancer 3 times, but he gave me the wisdom to go through it with calmness, dignity, and a cheerful disposition. Most importantly, keep going through whatever you have to go through with a smile, a cheerful disposition, and of course with gratitude. I left my body, finally. And then my children from all over the world, I left my body. My children from all over began to come. Sometimes on a single day, there could be a few thousand or 70,000. Each master eventually wants to give time and attention to the real children, the real devotees, the real lovers of, and the real aspirants who want to really walk the path. Most people come to a master for material wealth, like Guruji used to say. Either chamatkar nu namaskar or loka nu chaida sirf maya. And there is nothing wrong in that. But even their coming is like a business deal. Ask and leave. They do not care for God the Master, giving the poor nothing. It is all about I, me, myself. That is why sometimes a master might either act or might do something which may offend society at large, or try to look like a power-hungry, money-hungry individual. As he or she wants the true lovers to come to the Master and the source of oneness. The true lovers know who the master truly is. They're not fooled by the master's idiosyncrasies. They love the master irrespective of what the world says or feels or how the master behaves. Now, there are 3 reasons for asking for money, right? So, the person, you look this, anyway, the first reason is simple. The person owes something to the one. He or she or the family has pledged some money or some puja or some pilgrimage or the first salary to God, goddesses, master, and have forgotten their pledge. And if you have pledged something to them, then it is my duty to claim what is mine. Also, by claiming what is mine, I'm protecting the family from the ramifications of a promise not kept with the one and the oneness family. When in need, you promise them something, and then your work is done and you forget about the promise or keep postponing their rightful claim. It's like, we always say, Mera ye kaam ho jayega, to main 10,000, daan karungi, ya ye karungi, and then we forget. Then the cosmos starts um, grinding its loins to show you your place. This is the law. As you sow, so you reap. What you promise, you shall keep. Keep the promise. So now, Baba Sai says to Rabda, now if you try to kill yourself, because which Rabda has been trying to do for many chapters now, without giving the spirit world above an excruciating migraine that starts from the lower part. So the first reason I asked you was because I knew what was owed and I wanted what was promised. Remember, I would keep nothing for myself. When I slept at night, I kept just some loose change to buy my tobacco and oil for the lamps. Remember, only a master knows what is truly owed by others to him. So I could ask those who came and would keep asking till I. So we continue to speak about charity and the importance of charity and about to give back. So I will again reiterate if I already haven't. So when you take the Lord's name in vain, the ramifications you shall always face. That too is said in every ancient book. This is the way things are, Rabda. God is all merciful, but then God is all just too. And justice demands that if you have made a pledge, then you keep your promise to meet that pledge, be it to God or human being, or animal or your own self. That is the law, Rabda. The law does not discriminate between the oneness family and an animal or anything. The law is law final. So if somebody who had pledged something to the oneness family, I made sure I took it from that person. I took it out from that person. Before I slept, on that person's name or his or her family's name, I would distribute that amongst the Sufis, yogis, householders, and those in need. I have never needed money. I have told you, a Sufi or a man of God chooses poverty, voluntary poverty. As I have often said, that poverty is the highest of the riches and superior to the Lord's position. God is the brother of the poor, and a fakir is the real emperor. A fakir does not perish, but an empire is soon lost. So for me, money does not matter. So even for Guruji, it was not, he didn't matter. He did not ask for money for himself, but it was the teacher's detachment. Second reason is that I want to test the disciple as to why they came to meet me. Some old Sangha says, or people who went to him and never went back, that Guruji said, Manu Mercedes de de, but it was not for him. It was to bless them and to see if they actually gave out of detachment for the material. Baba, you used to ask for so much money, so much more than what they carried for the pilgrimage. If they had 50 bucks, you would ask for 150 and tell them to go beg, borrow, and steal to give it to you. I mean, that was really below the belt. So Baba Sai responds to that because one needs to learn a few lessons before it is too late. First, it is important to go beyond attachment towards money and wealth. Yes, if you have it, great. But if you have wealth and are obsessed with it, then the wealth becomes your sinking sand, which is not good. Even poverty, if it makes you sad, mean, bitter, jealous, is a horrible thing. First, voluntary poverty and detached affluence are both one and the same thing. If you are poor and bitter about it, or you're rich and obsessed about it, again, it means the same thing. But a rich man who is detached about his wealth is on the same page as a poor man who has accepted his lot with calm and positive surrender. It is all about how one embraces each situation. So, son, I would ask for empty pockets because either I wanted the individual to shed his attachment to money or decide whether I am more important or the money he or she carries. If I am important, if the master is important, then there would be no shame or ego in even going forth and begging or asking for help to secure the money that is asked by me. So, first and foremost, the love and surrender you have for your master will decide your reaction and behavior towards the master's request about anything. Of course, the master has to be truly pure. That comes from not keeping anything for himself or not being attached to anything that is asked. The third reason is that I wanted to avoid those who did not come out to love but came for selfish interests only. Yes, everybody has some hidden interest in their devotion too. That is fine. But some are not interested in God or anything that is on the divine path. They are only interested in their small world of money, position, power, ego, the world of glitter. So I want to shoo those people away till they realize the importance of detachment and the position of a master. So initially, a lot of people, I'm sure, came for their vested interest. Guruji, navi dukaan de do, nama makan de do, navi gaddi de do. So it just went on. Endless desires and endless demands towards Guruji. So people would. But then, like Guruji said, mano mango ne andera karo. So आते आते समझ आती है कि वो चीजें अगर आपके लिए अच्छी हैं वो मिल जाएंगी. But the real gift is the gift of Naam. The real gift is Guruji himself. So therefore, it's important to keep coming. Guruji always used to say, आया करो बस, हाजिरी लगाया करो, आंदे आंदे समझ आंदी है कि रब की है. Now your question as to how to know who is truly deserving and who is not is up to your discretion and judgment. If you feel somebody is in true need, give without worrying about whether the person's motives are pure or not. If the person is trying to cheat you, the cosmos will deal with that person in the way the cosmos knows best. It will extract 100 or 1,000-fold from that person in some way or the other. The cosmos is ruthless when it has to be, so do not worry about this. I have mentioned it time and again that if someone begs or asks for help for anything, and if that is in your power to give, then give it. Do not say no. Like, for instance, one day I remember we were sitting and a lady, a Sangat, went up to Guruji and said, Guruji, तुसी मेरे कदी नहीं आए. Guruji said, मैं आया सी, मैं beggar दे रूप च आया सी, मैं पानी मंगया सी, तू मैनू मना करता और तू मैनू बगाता. So God can come in any form. When a human being comes to you and asks for something, and if it's in your power to give, and you have used your good judgment that that person truly needs it, then if it's in your power, then please give it. This all helps to build a good karmic account. Never say no, but if you have nothing to give the person or do not want to give for whatever the reason, give a polite negative reply, but do not mock or ridicule the person, nor get angry with him, and make sure you do not shoo him away. This applies to man, woman, child, animal, bird, or whatsoever. It doesn't matter. You give it if you can, and if you can't, then say so with respect. Join your hands and request the person to forgive you, or understand that you cannot meet that person's request. And if you can help, do not seek anything in return. not even gratitude, as that will create a karmic cycle with you and the individual. Meaning, asked Rabda, well, let us say a beggar comes, responds Baba says, and wants money from you. If you do not want to help out, say it like no. If you do help out, give the money because you want to truly help the person and relieve him of his plight. Say you feel he is hungry or thirsty. Give him money for food or water or whatever, because you do not want another being to go without food or water, whatever it is the person seeks money for. Do it because you want to help the person out of the sake of oneness and compassion. Then there is no give and take between you and the person. But if you give the person hoping for blessings, hoping for gratitude, hoping for something in return, then it is a karmic bond. You're creating a karmic bond between you and the person that you give to. Then you will somehow or the other have to come to receive that money from the same individual in this lifetime or the next. As when you help without agenda. Yes, you will be blessed with much more, of course. But then the karmic bond with the individual will not be there. And remember, there is a difference between charity and compassion. In charity, you give. In compassion, you share. When you give, you have to receive the same too from the same individual. When you share, it spreads a bond of giving which goes on for lifetimes, with or without you. So do remember one thing, there are many in need. Help those truly in need. Or at least try your best to help those truly in need. You might still be fooled. Then leave it to Allah to sort things out. And yes, not many remember what I've said about compassion and humility. Always be humble and compassionate, but humility should not be towards all. Severity is also necessary in dealing with the wicked. So even Guruji used to say, Niviro, daya rakho manch. But of course, when you have to be strong and stern to deal with those who are unjust, then you have to be not compassionate, but be strong and stand up against them. Those who are wicked, deal with them in the way they deserve, not out of anger, hate, or revenge. But as Lord Krishna says, the idea of do not do evil and do not bear evil. When you do evil, it is wrong. But when you turn a blind eye to evil or quietly bear the evil deed, you are encouraging the evil person to go further into the bowels of hell. The person gets more power to do further evil. By standing up to evil and evildoers, you are doing two things: protecting the innocent and making sure that evil does not get perpetrated. And also you're helping the evil person not go further into the abyss of his own hell. Baba began preparing a children, silently muttering under his breath. Then he looked up at Baba with the eyes of the goddess of maternal love, and Rabda began to cry. He walked towards Baba and put his head at his feet and began to sob while the old man pressed his head and said, Allah Balla Karega. Do not cry, Rabda. Fikr not, your Baba is with you and all his children, for now and beyond and beyond. So Guruji, once you come in his fold, he gives us his promise that he will always be with us, but we must live in alignment with his teachings. So always watch ourselves, check ourselves daily. Am I walking the path? Am I being able to walk the talk? Baba, I want to see the time you went into your first samadhi for 3 days. Also tell me, you used to ask for specific amounts of dakshina or money from certain devotees. Was there any particular reason for that? Now you listen. Bacha, all my life I begged for my food from 5 homes, all my life. So there is always a reason for me to ask anything from anybody. I did not need anything, but I would go each day sometimes 15 times a day, to beg for my food, which I shared with one and all. I barely ate, have no taste in my tongue, as if I asked for something, there was and is always a reason. So please explain. I ask from no one, Rabda. It is the one, the Fakir, Allah, who directs me to ask from certain individuals and make sure I refuse from other individuals. I personally do not need any money. It's like Guruji never personally needed money. It was a test sometimes of our faith, of our detachment. There were so many reasons why he used to ask for certain things, not for himself, but always to distribute. What will a poor fakir do with money anyway? What will a guru do with money? He has come to only give us and to receive only love and our kindness and to be a better human being. Like I said in the previous chapter, he used to bless and then he used to say, Main tenu banda banata. So all he wanted us to be a good human being. I have no responsibilities but that of keeping oil in the lamps, few logs of wood for Dunimai and for my tobacco. Because often I was not asking for money, bacha, but asking for other things. So much more important than all this money put together in all of creation. Also, it was only when devotees began to first come by the hundreds and then by the thousands that I began to ask for money. Otherwise, I never asked for money from anybody. It was virtually in the last 14 years of my life that I began to ask for money to ascertain various things apart from the intensity of love, faith, and devotion. Each time I asked for a specific amount from a devotee, there was a divine reason to it. So Kes was more than aware that where Baba was concerned, everything began and ended with love. If there was love, the master was bonded to the individual. If there was business, then the master was a ruthless businessman and the books of accounts had to be perfectly balanced. No ifs and buts. So if we give love to our guru, then he gives us love manifold. But if we come to him in this transactional mode, like Guruji, mujhe ye de do, and then I will give you this, then he keeps on balancing our karmic accounts. Even when Baba Sai asked for money for dakshina, he was not interested in the money. What would Baba do with money? He had embraced poverty like a lover does his beloved. By the time Baba was preparing for his samadhi, he cumulatively every month received more money than the British governor of India. But every night before he slept, he distributed all that money to the poor, the Sufis, the sages, to some of his devotees, and for repairing temples in and around Shirdi, and sponsoring pilgrimages in the country and the Hajj. So why would Baba often empty the pockets of those who came to meet him? Why would he sometimes keep asking for money from the same person and refusing money, on the other hand, from those who stood by, but empty the pocket of that individual and still ask for more? For instance, Baba Sai explains, when I asked for 2 paisa or 2 rupees, I was in reality asking for faith and patience. The same way the holy ash from Dunimai was to teach one and all that eventually the body will become dust, but the spirit and the soul would be eternal. And me asking for money was also to teach one and all about detachment from what ails all of mankind. Today we are engulfed by materialism and consumerism, and everybody wants to amass wealth for personal consumption rather than to share it with those in true need. To say the more we have, the more we want to hoard. We are afraid of sharing it. So, like he said, compassion is when we share it. Charity is when we give it. So Guruji used to say, compassion rakho, daya rakho apne man. When I asked for 1 paisa or rupee, I was asking for oneness and to banish discrimination in the name of God and religion. When I asked for 3 paisas, I wanted the belief in the Trinity, and also I wanted complete devotion and surrender of body, mind, and soul. Guruji used to say, "Ki mainu tan man dhan de do apna." When you do that, that is known as complete positive surrender. Knowing that now we are in his capable hands and everything I have, everything I own is his. And whenever he asked for anything, it was not for his personal requirement, it is to distribute it to those in need and to expiate our karmas and everything to do with the physical, emotional, and mental. I wanted surrender of the mind, the intellect, the knowledge to be laid at the feet of one's master. So now, listen to this. When I asked for 4 rupees or 4 paisas, I wanted the child to give me, in addition to the mind and intellect, also their various planes of consciousness, which is their ego and pride. Or I wanted the child to focus on the 4 main reasons or purpose or principles of life. The first is dharma, that is, respecting one's station, duties, and responsibilities in life. Like Guruji said, कि मैं घर गृहस्थी में बसा हूं, तोनू रब घर गृहस्थी विच नजर आएंगे. Kyunki when we have our daily struggles and strife, that is when we really reach out to him. And accepting one's station in life without resentment, without envy, and without greed. Then comes karma, which means respecting the laws of cause and effect and accepting the ramifications of one's actions and decisions and the use of free will, either in past lives or in the present. So we must understand that we must do our duty, which is our dharma, and then we must respect karma and know that whatever we sow, we will have to reap. And we have to accept the ramifications of the choices and of our actions, our words, and our thoughts. It is all very precise. It is non-negotiable and precise. Then comes the need for shunya, which means the need to be free from the ramifications of cause and effect, and thus conducting oneself in a manner that releases oneself from the wheel or the sinking sand of cause and effect. And the last is, of course, moksha, which means to be liberated from all ignorance and prejudices and dogmas and go beyond everything and to merge with the one. So with Guruji, I feel that everything gets mitigated. Our desires and our also our attachments and our what really surfaces is contentment and calmness. And he gives us the wisdom to remain silent, like he used to say, chup so sukh, because when we react, we are creating more karma. So moksha, which means to be liberated from ignorance and prejudices, is what it really means. Like there's many translations to moksha. Like people used to say, Guruji, moksha de do. Used to say, tonu matlab hi nahi pata moksha. But moksha here means when we are liberated from all ignorance and we go into the light while we are on the earth's plane. So to be detached, to be in contentment and calmness while we are walking the earth's plane, doing our duties. Listen further. When I demanded 5 paisas or 5 rupees, I wanted the child to lay at my feet all the 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. If you can get your breath under control, all these 5 senses will come under control. But then who wants to waste time breathing in and out when there are so many outwardly sensual gratifications taking place? So no one wants to sit in silence, especially in today's very distracting world. No one wants to sit alone in silence. There are very few people who feel content with themselves, who enjoy their own company. How many of us really enjoy our own company? How many of us are not afraid to be alone? Then I asked for 6 paisas. said Baba Sai. Now, when I asked for 6 paisas, the 6 enemies of all living beings, the inner lower energies that come in a pack of 6, uncontrolled desires, attachments, greed, anger, jealousy, hate, and ego. The six, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. The 6 enemies were managed to outwit and overcome sages, Sufis, saints, priests. So, and every common man. When I asked for 7 paisa, I wanted the individual to let go of all thoughts of the 7 dimensions and the astral and causal worlds, of heaven and hell, of spirits and astral travel, and focus on the now, the present, to give his whole life the best and leave the rest to one's master. In today's world, there's a lot of people who want to go and do past life regression. They want to go to astrologers to know the future. But Guruji has taken us from what if to what is. He brings us back into the present moment where we must live our best lives, have noble thoughts, do our deeds, do charity, do part, do Simran, and do Seva. Is everybody still there? Anybody wants to ask a question today? It's Sunday, and I can get a break from my throat.
I think each one is hearing and just taking it in.
So what's
Beautiful reading.
amazing is that Baba Sai, asked for specific amount from specific people. And whatever Baba asked for, say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rupees, we are understanding that there was a very profound meaning to it. So nothing was, by chance, but everything by his choice and his perfect mathematics. So when the 7 is to let go of the astral worlds and the 7, realms that we talk about today, and to live life to the fullest in the present moment. When I sought 8 paisas, 10 paisas, or 18 paisas, I wanted the person to surrender to me all paranormal powers he or she acquired through means that were not right or were questionable. These powers are called siddhis. There can be 8 siddhis, 10 siddhis, put together 18 such siddhis. If the individual is not pulsating with oneness and to serve God, Goddess, and Master only, but to serve himself or herself, and found his own ego, the powers are being used or were going to be used not to spread light and compassion, but to avail oneself of power and heighten one's greed. In today's world, like Guruji said, 2 things he said. Ek to nazar se bacho, low profile raw. In today's social media world where we are posting every minute of our lives, we become open to a lot of things. Ek hai nazar and ek hai badduaएं maybe, or people doing strange things on us. Like he used to say, there are certain things. Black magic does exist. So if we are using our siddhis to only serve ourselves for our ego, instead of you spreading light and compassion, then it becomes all hell will break loose ultimately. Because we will be cheating and hurting innocent people and breaking their trust in God. So I want my bachas to surrender all those siddhis and intentions. Remember, it is better to face agony and misfortune than to court these lower powers, the siddhis, as such powers are like a prostitute who, though she can earn through hard work, uses her body to entice and earn quick money. Avoid such powers, as that is the sure way to the worst possible hell ever created by God in his benevolent wisdom. Okay, so there's another one, 9 rupees, bacha. I wanted the child to lay down the hold of astrology and the 9 planets and its influence, positive and negative. The 9 planets exerted consciously or subconsciously in the child's life. The planets should do their work based on one's karma. But always remember prayers, meditation, compassion, charity, and master. And most important, the grace of God can perform miracles, and that is nothing. And that nothing is impossible for God. So, thus, respect the planets, but to be obsessed or fearful of them does not speak much for the child's faith in his or her individual capacity and potential. This is so beautiful because, again, Guruji used to say, yes, astrology is a science. And of course, there are planets out there and there are planetary positions which influence our lives in a good, positive, and negative manner. But to become obsessed with astrology, because astrologers can read your horoscope, but Guruji changes those um, very predictions. So he said, "Main tuade hatta de likira mathe te likira badal dena." So there is no point. It is more important, rather than focusing on the planets, focus on our satsangs, our seva, our simran, and again, charity, showing compassion and being kind. So, so then there is a lot of, back and forth conversation which is in humor. So there's nothing. Then Baba goes on to talk about Swami Alakot. He was loved and worshipped by countless devotees. His telling his close disciples that Sai Baba and he were one indicated two things clearly. First and foremost, masters are beyond religion and duality. Second, Swami Alaknath was and is considered an avatar, a reincarnation of Lord Dattatreya. Him saying he and Baba Sai are one is meant Sai too was one with Lord Dattatreya. And those who stayed away from Baba because of his unorthodox behavior or Sufi appearance was made to understand that even Swami Akal Kot had left his body. He resided in Sai Baba of Shirdi. Slowly, people started coming to Shirdi to see and meet and pay homage to the man who the great and powerful Swami Kalkot had directed towards. But all the while, Baba continued to live in his humble manner and made no difference to him whether he was considered a god or a mad fakir. His main people were Maharpasti. So even with Guruji, initially people never understood that Guruji is a true Mahapurush. Like he said, Guru Ananami Krava. So he had people trickling in initially until this started. Literally, there was a tsunami of devotees then pouring in. Okay, so this is the next paragraph. It is slightly now talking about, it was the year 1886. On August 14th, Khair saw Baba Sai exceedingly ill. Baba suffered from severe asthma, which often made him gasp for breath. His breathing would get so labored that often those close to him would begin to weep, unable to see Baba suffering. Some Sangat have actually seen Guruji suffer when he used to take on people's karmas. I remember when, again, it's about my skin cancer, when Guruji said, Main hafta bimar raha tere vaste, people had seen him suffer. Baba would smile and tell one and all not to worry. That is what the fakir wanted Baba to go through, so be it. Also, Baba seemed to be tired and longing to merge with the one. He never said it openly, but he looked tired. There was so much work taking place in the spirit dimension, with Baba helping scores of people go through their lives with dignity. The strange part being most of those were not even aware of Baba or his help and presence. But Khair's understood that masters are not concerned about personal glory at all. They work and help and heal and bless and take on the suffering of their lot silently. So Guruji took on the karma of so many devotees without wanting anything in return. But we as humans can give him our love. That is all Guruji wanted from us. Our love and our goodness. Cares saw Rabda sitting close to Baba's side. Not to forget, Cares is a person who now is witnessing himself in another lifetime with Baba's side. The young man was visibly upset seeing Baba suffering. So many spirit helpers surrounded Baba, all in prayer, all aware of what was about to happen. Baba walked near a particular spot in Dwarka Mai with the help of Mahalspati. It was a full moon night, a beautiful day to do what he had to do, sighed Baba sighed. He lay his head on Mahalspati's lap. It was obvious Baba was going through excruciatingly discomfort, but he smiled, as though reassuring everyone not to worry. Bhagat, listen, be careful, Baba whispered, as he labored to speak. Allah has decided that I leave this body. Don't get worried. Listen to me. Allah has permitted me to leave this body, as it needs to be cleansed, and this cleaning cannot be done with me in the body. I will leave this body in some time. Everybody will think I've died. My body will show no signs of life, Bacha. But remember one thing, the way I see it, I will return to my body in 3 days. If I don't return to this battered body, then you see that plot of land, bury me there and put two flags, one near my head and the other on the left side of my body, to indicate that Sai Baba's body rests in this spot. Baba, you will have to protect my body, Bhagat. My blessings are with you. And remember, whether I return or not, I am with you and all those who are mine. Allah Malik. Saying this, Baba exhaled a sigh of release and slumped deep into the lap of the visibly weeping Mahaspati. Thus, on a full moon night on 14th August, Baba left his mortal remains. In a short while, the news spread like wildfire. Tati and Shama came running, weeping as though possessed, but the moment Mahaspati explained to them what Baba had revealed, they stopped weeping and embraced each other. There's so many of the devotees that went for Guruji's Mahasamadhi. And when we saw his body, we thought, this is it. And then, in due course, Guruji showed us that I have gone nowhere. I am here for all my children, and I am still blessing the world, and many worlds for that matter. His energy is so alive, is so living. Guruji Mare ang sang hi hai. We may not be able to see him, but he sees us every moment. He hears us every moment. He knows our every thought, every word and action. They knew their old man. For Baba, everything and anything was not only possible, but mundane. Miracles are made to look like daily routine, where Baba was concerned. So the two men formed a protective ring around Baba and Mahaspati. There were many who thought Baba was just a madman, or worse, a fake. Those who wanted to get rid of Baba began to insist that Baba be buried at the earliest. First, doctors from the villages came and checked Baba and declared him dead. Then the British administrators, hearing about the strange happenings in Shirdi, a fakir who was apparently dead but clearly with all intentions of returning to his body, sent their English medical officer. The young man came over on the third day of Baba leaving his body. Baba lay with his head on Mahaspati, who had not got up since. Shama, who was a huge and robust man, stood with a sturdy bamboo stick in his hand, daring anybody to come close to his Baba. Tatya, known in the village, used all his influence to galvanize support from the villagers to safeguard Baba's body. Those who loved Baba formed a protective human shield around Baba and Dwarka Mai. So the English doctor came over. We mustn't forget this was during the English rule that Baba gave birth. Baba was born. See, in every yug, there's an avatar to come and rescue humanity, uplift humanity. So when the English doctor came over, examined Baba, declared him dead, but also made it clear that Baba exhibited no signs of having been dead for 3 days, as the body was still relaxed and rigor mortis, or the softening or the stiffening sorry, or the stiffening of the body, surprisingly had not set in. He was confused, but very politely suggested that Baba was dead, and with the scare of cholera and typhoid, it would be best to bury Baba. But one look from Shama, who understood English perfectly, and also had the body of a pit bull terrier, and the medical officer sighed and left. Now, in the early hours of the fourth day's morning, before dawn, Baba's breathing commenced. So Mahapurushes decide when to come, when to go, and then when to come back. So the breathing commenced. His stomach showed the movement of inhalation and exhalation, and after a while, whispering Allah Malik, Baba opened his eyes and smiled. He stretched his body as though waking up from a long slumber and sat up. Mahaspati began to weep, and Shirdi erupted with screams of joy, and all those in their houses ran out to see the miracle. I was tired of living, said Baba. My body was plagued with pain, agony, and taking on the suffering of my lot, and working out their karmas along with them. I was tired, Bhagat. I wanted to go back to Him. So I decided to end my life and go back to Allah. But obviously, Allah had other plans. My friend and brother, who the world knows as Ram Krishna Paramhansa, had also decided to leave his body. His work was not finished, but he wanted to merge with Ma. Only one of us could remain, so I decided to come back and let my friend and brother continue his journey upwards. One day later, the newspapers published the heartbreaking news of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa taking Samadhi in Calcutta on 16th of August. The British doctor came back to find Baba smoking a chillum. The poor man nearly passed out. He turned towards his fellow officers and then looked at Baba, and Baba simply smiled. And the officer gasped in disbelief as he saw his Lord and Master, Jesus Christ, in Baba. So, like Guruji used to say, see me in any roop. Connect to whatever you connect to. You want to see Jesus Christ in me, you will see Jesus Christ in me. You want to see Shri Sai Baba? Just believe. Believe and you shall receive. Like my Christ, Baba was resurrected after 3 days. You do not know how fortunate you are to be living so close to him. Saying this, he bowed to Baba, who nodded back and then left. Kaz looked at Baba sitting in Dwarkamai in front of the holy fire, chanting while innumerable spirit bodies circled around him, saying their individual prayers. Back in the cave, Kaz sat silently in front of the fire. He was so overwhelmed, seeing everything and realizing everything about Baba, that all he could do then was approach Baba, put his head down at Baba's feet and cry. Far away, the nurse again noticed tears gushing down the cheeks of her famous patient. He seemed to be glowing now, as though the coma was in reality doing wonders for his health in a strange way. So he was able to see the many lifetimes that he was connected with Baba Sai. And same way, we have always been connected to Guruji. But it is his grace when he shows us our past lifetimes. He used to be quite against us going into past life regression because he used to say, this lifetime is what needs to be focused on. And take care of this lifetime. Do the best you can. And know that I'm always with you, past, present, and future. Rabda to sab hai. And be in a sharan. Ask ke Guruji apne charnon mein rakhna. Just keep loving him and keep doing good deeds as and when you can. Jai Guruji, thank you for today's reading. We shall meet again tomorrow.
Thank you, Auntie. Auntie, we have a question. One listener, Rashmi, she's asking, wanted to know about moksha in the physical plane.
Mm. So, okay, very loosely, it's like we're living our lives. Of course, when we're children, we have certain desires, we have dreams, and then we go through second stage where we get married, and then we have children, and we become householders. So we are doing our dharma, right? The first phase is very cushioned. We are being raised by our parents. It's like being in a dreamland. But then when we get married and have children and we're in Gargrasti, that is where the real test of faith begins, because we have so many struggles, we have so many challenges in life. So that is when we are doing our dharma, we are fulfilling our responsibilities and duties. Then the third is when we start seeking, the third phase of our lives. Now we start seeking, and while we're seeking and getting closer to Guruji, when we are connecting to Guruji, we first may come with these desires, a bag full of desires. And like Guruji used to say, ਲੋਕੀ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ shopping ਦੁਕਾਨ ਖੋਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ shopping list ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ. So we do bring our shopping list initially. But by coming, like he said, Hazri lagaya karo, aya karo, Shabad suno, langar karo, our vibration changes. And now we start detaching from our shopping list. The shopping list is endless, but now we start thinking, oh my goodness, I see the light. I see much more beyond my shopping list. So slowly we start detaching. And of course, this is with his grace. Mehnat meri, rahmat teri, right? So mehnat hamari hai to detach. But the rahmat is his to give us the wisdom to detach. So these things don't matter. So when we start detaching and come to a place of calmness and contentment, and we are just now being the observer of life, our own life, we become the spectator of our own life, then we are truly liberated while we are alive. Now we are just walking the earth's plane with Guruji, but not really having any particular desire. The desire now, if at all, is just to um, basically go with the flow of Guruji's love. And that is moksha while we're on earth. Not to be hurt by anything, forgive all that have hurt us, be asked for forgiveness, and be in a state of calmness, contentment, and positive surrender, and positive acceptance, and of course, the gratitude. So, this is my translation of moksha while we're on earth and doing the charity that we need to. So, to keep giving, right? Because the chapter is all about giving and charity, and do our best while we can. So, we have everything that we wanted. Now we are so comfortable in our lives that now it's time to give back. So, when we give with our heart, with nothing, no expectation of gaining anything in return, not even a thank you, then we have attained liberation, if that makes sense, to a certain degree.
Thank you, Aunty. Jai Guruji, Aunty.
Thank you, Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji.
Thank you, Jai Guruji. We spoke about Baba Sai taking Masamadhi and after 3 days coming back again, which Mahapurush only decide when to go, when to come back. So after Baba's 3-day Samadhi, first and foremost, when you share, it spreads a bond of giving, which goes on for lifetimes, with or without you. So after Baba's 3-day Samadhi, Mahaspati first and then, after a while, Shama, began to spend every night with Baba Sai at Dwarkamai. Kes had always been interested in experiencing those nights Baba and his 2 disciples, worshippers and friends, spent making certain the others did not sleep. This was Baba's way of helping them be in constant remembrance of God. For Baba, not sleeping much meant more time being in awareness of God's creation, being in gratitude in God's glory, and being filled with God's energy and presence. Even if a person would spend time just alone, on and off chanting his name, drop by drop, the ocean would fill. How beautiful. So, when we say no prayers ever go in vain, we must keep chanting, doing the good deeds that he wants us to do, because that drop by drop will become the ocean of wisdom, the ocean of love, the ocean of divinity. So we must do what he has asked us to do, being in his glory, singing his glory, and simply living by his hukam. Baba all his life had slept in Dwarkamai, but one day it began to pour. Kaz felt that the humble structure of the old masjid would collapse. Dwarka Mai was a very small structure, unlike the one that now is in Shirdi. It was made of mud and the floor was covered with cow dung. The strong winds brought the rain into Dwarka Mai, and Baba was only concerned about protecting the perpetual fire that burned. The water had begun to slowly collect in Dwarka Mai, and all those present within pleaded with Baba to move to Chavadi, the rest house, which was not more than 20 or 30 feet adjacent. There was a lane that separated Dwarka Mine and Chavadi. Down the lane was Baba's favorite Lord Hanuman temple, which was near a beautiful tree. Baba began to abuse one and all. He was against all kind of change. He liked to have routine. He liked things as they were. However old, dirty, dilapidated something was, Baba was happy with the familiarity of things. Nobody likes change. Thus, everybody was aware that to convince Baba to leave Dwarka Mai was going to be a Herculean task. Eventually, Narayan Teli could no longer stand seeing Baba all drenched, and the thought of Baba spending a night there while it stormed outside was too much for the good man. So he approached Baba, apologized for what he was about to do, and quickly picked Baba up, put him on his shoulders, and went to Chavadi. Kaz began to laugh, and Baba, who stood by his side, began to mutter, but he chuckled too. So he just picked me up and ran like a shaitan. All the while, Narayan Teli ran as though possessed. Baba abused loudly. All the beautiful words created in Persian, Arabic, Hindi, and Marathi were used on Teli. Teli ran, disregarding all that Baba abused him with. They entered Chavadi, Baba holding onto the man's shoulder, shouting and screaming at one and all, and the others for a moment stood with mouths agape, not believing what Teli had done. But once within the cafe confines of Chavadi, Baba cooled down, patted Teli, and then henceforth every alternate night Baba would sleep in Chavadi. In Chavadi, he slept in the right side of the room while Mahaspati and other devotees would sleep on the other room. Abdul had arrived in Shirdi a year after Baba's first Samadhi, but he was not given lodging or boarding by Baba. He had to fend for himself. Every night in Dwarka Mai, Mahaspati and Tatya would sit and chat through the night. Baba would be like a friend to both of them. He would tell them stories of distant places he had traveled to safeguard his devotees. And in a few days, news would trickle in to confirm what Baba had revealed to both of them. In the night, only Lakshmi Ma, as Baba Sai fondly called her, was allowed to enter Dwarka Mai. She was beloved to Baba. She had served Baba for 45 years and was one of the first to feed Baba. When Baba Sai took Samadhi, was the last to be with him. She loved him daily, and Lakshmi Ma would be allowed access to him anytime, at any place. In fact, later, when the crowds of devotees would grow, Baba still would have a special place of honor and love to Lakshmi Ma. He would call for kheer, sweet rice, and milk, and take a few bites through her hands, make the kheer reach Radha Krishna Mai, who loved kheer and would only eat what Baba sent to her as a prasad. Khair saw Rabda sit with Baba Sai while he spoke to Mahaspati and Tatya through the night. In fact, even after Baba took Samadhi 32 years later, Mahaspati would continue to sit all day in Dwarka Mai and every alternate night sleep in Dwarka Mai till he passed over 4 years later. So now there were times Baba would press Tatya's feet or Mahaspati's legs, and when they objected, Baba would say, "For the world I may be Guru or even God, but here in Masjid we are all friends, all moving towards Him." But what made Kaz really buckle up with laughter was that while Tatya slept, Baba would hide Tatya's belongings And when Tatya woke up, Baba would go all out of his way to pretend to Tatya find the belonging, or Baba would gently, with Mahaspati help, lift Tatya up and place the poor chap outside Dwarka Mai. And then the two would wait like children for Tatya to wake up in a state of shock, wondering how on earth he had managed to land up in the middle of the lane. And many times Baba and Mahaspati would pretend to be sleeping, all the while chuckling, while watching Tatya enter Dwarka Mai, all confused, scratching his head in bewilderment. But obviously, after a few times, Satya, the genius, realized what was going on, and he, tall and strong, would pick Baba up on his shoulders and run through the length and breadth of Dwarkamai, with Baba unable to keep his laughter under check, abusing him and telling him to put him down and not run like a horse. Baba once wore Tatya's turban and mimicked Tatya so well that all the three men rolled on the floor with laughter. So basically, they had a lot of fun. Like Guruji was also very funny. He had a great sense of humor and he knew how to have fun with his Sangat. He would really, entertain them, crack all sorts of jokes. He used to say, wife ki hundi hai, and people would say, Guruji, pata nahi kya hoti hai. Kende ki wife hundi hai, very invited forever. This is his way of making us laugh. One day I was sitting with him writing wedding cards because I'm a calligrapher. So he would say, Changi handwriting, which apna likh do, sabde naam. So I would be writing, and then he would say, "Badi soni handwriting hai. Teri main India the best handwriting karti hai." In his small, informal, casual manner, he would bless you immensely. And then he said, "Ke RSV thille ki likhe?" मैं कहा, "Guruji RSVP लिखा हुआ है." कहते RSVP क्यों होता है? So मैंने सोचा, okay, let me be like intelligent and recite my practice my French. So I said, Guruji, इसका मतलब होता है répondez s'il vous plaît. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਲਈ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ RSVP ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਰੋਂਗੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ and everyone broke into a chuckle. So Guruji has actually taught each one of us how to live, laugh and love. So this is his way, and this is every Mahapurush at every era does this and spends time with their devotees as if they are part of the devotee, and not enabling the devotee to ever realize that they are actually the divine sitting amongst their devotees. So, for Tatya, Baba was his guru and God. Once he had got so upset that for nights he refused to come and sleep in Dwarka Mai, till somehow Baba persuaded him. And then Tatya began to cry, saying not to add to his karma by pressing his feet, be a sinner, while Baba was in his trinity. Kaz now had tears in his eyes when one day he saw Baba and Mahaspati sitting in Dwarka Mai, and they saw Nana Chandorkar, another intimate disciple, performed by Baba. Nana was fortunate to have witnessed personally many miracles performed by Baba, even the one where the holy ash was delivered to his doorstep, with the horse carriage materializing in the middle of the night, hundreds of miles away, to take the carrier of the holy ash to Nana's doorstep. But when this incident took place, Nana was still to come into Baba's fold. Bhagat, who is that chap standing there? Baba, that is Nana. Acha, that is Nana. Are Bhagat, this Nana wants to work on our Masjid I and wants to virtually reconstruct our Masjid I, as he feels the Masjid has become very old and he wants to make it pakka, matlab strong, he said. What do you think, Bhagat? Should we allow changes to be made to our Masjid? Is something wrong with our Masjid? What do you think? Do you feel it requires any change? You know me, Bhagat. I am not much for change. Simplicity and familiarity and routine is what comforts me. It lets me focus on what should be truly permanent and the changes that are really needed for each individual, which is always internal. So we focus so much on the external to bring about changes to our external environment, maybe even cosmetic, changes. But our God, our Guru sees our soul. And he's more interested in the internal workings of the human rather than the external. So this is so beautiful. And Guruji always used to teach us simplicity also. Used even in satsangs, when we used to sit with Guruji, it was a simple darbar. It was just him, and that was enough. He is larger than life. We didn't need anything else. It was him sitting, and his aura was larger than life. Baba, let him do what he wants. He can't change the essence, as that is you and our holy fire. The walls and floors do not make Dwarka mine. You and your energy and presence and our Duni mine makes the essence and my sign. We will be able to sit and sleep a little more comfortably. That's all. Baba lit a chillam, muttered abuses galore, chuckled, smiled, nodded, finally giving his permission. Baba thus gave his consent. But what was more beautiful was the innocence Kes witnessed inside, who was so often as innocent as a child. So even Guruji is Bola. So, he used to sit amongst his devotees, and whatever they said at times, "Ki Guruji hai kallane o kallane," and Guruji would just nod in his innocent demeanor. One needs to be careful of desires, as once you have your desires under your control, you shall move into the region of the heart. For 14 years, from 1898 to 1912, from 1898 to 1912, Masvati, Tatya, and Baba spent such beautiful nights together. So much of love and so much of laughter and blessings. But once Tatya's father passed away, Baba insisted that Tatya take up the family responsibility. And thus, after 14 years, till Baba took Samadhi, Masvati spent every night with Baba, either at Dwarkamai or often at Chavadi. Many miracles took place after Baba's 3-day Samadhi, but noteworthy for Kaz was a particular incident which he had grown up hearing from his maternal grandmother and mother. This was Baba's unusual sleeping place in Dwarkamai. Apart from being able to remove his intestines to be washed and also separate his limbs, the ultimate yoga practices known to masters, Baba would sleep on a thin plank. Suspended 7 feet above the ground, Baba was 5 feet 6 inches tall. The plank was somehow attached to the beams of Dwarkamai by thin pieces of cloth. It was in the year 1898 that a gentleman by the name of Dengo had gifted Baba a wooden plank, which is about 4.5 feet long and less than a foot wide. Now, on the 4 corners of the plank, Baba would place earthen oil lamps which burnt all night long. So, when Baba realized that the curiosity of how he managed to get on the plank and sleep on it, and how the plank suspended with the help of thin strips of cloth would bear, forget Baba's weight. The weight of the plank itself got the better of the devotees and village folk, especially children. One day, Baba, after screaming abuses and running out to hit one and all, came back, broke the plank, and offered the wood to the holy fire. When he was asked why he did what he did, Baba said, "Why should I sleep on the plank and my Mahasa sleep on the floor? It is better we should sleep on a higher It is better he should sleep on a higher place than me." This is when Kaz realized the love Baba has for all his disciples. Like even Guruji used to think of what he had and has our best interest at heart. He always thinks, what are the best ways of making us happy? And he's constantly at work. We don't even get to know. But he's all compassionate, all loving. And he does the best for each of his devotee. So Baba's wish was his command. No ifs and buts, no questions asked, no consequences debated or questions. A disciple lives and breathes his or her master whereas for a devotee, the master is part of his or her life. For a disciple, the master is life, death, soul, liberation, and merger. So by Baba saying, let Mahaspati sleep higher than him, Baba meant that he wanted his children to merge with the one while he, as the master, would guide each one to the final destination. But he would always remain one rung lower in order to ferry each and every disciple to the one. So, so beautiful that Guruji is always beside us, but always behind us, also, always to push us forward. So, Guruji has our best interest at heart, always making sure he's guiding us and he's guarding us. Kaz looked at Rabda, who was always near Baba, and for the first time envied Rabda, who was in reality himself. He realized one thing: he did not want liberation, happiness, joy, ecstasy, even godhood. All he wanted was to always be near his Baba, Sai, his God, Guru, and phenomenal grumpy old man. So, this is another thing: when we get attached to our Guru, then all we want is our Guru. And Guruji used to say, मेरे फॉर्म नाल नहीं अटैच हो, क्योंकि मैं ए नहीं है, पहले भी मैं सी, हूं भी मैं, आगे भी मैं, पर मैं किसी फॉर्म में भी आ सकता हूँ. So connect to the energy. They were back in Shirdi. Once again, Abdul and Rabda, along with innumerable spirit bodies, sat with Baba. It was a cold afternoon. Outside, Kes was shocked to see countless devotees milling around Dwarka Mai, while a number of devotees, including Shama, Mahaspati, Tatya, Nana, and other close and old followers of Baba, made certain that Baba was given his afternoon 2 or more hours of rest or prayers and meditation. Obviously, this particular incident must have taken place after 1910, as it was then when countless people, inspired by the songs of Das Ganu, Once Upon a Time, police constable and lyricist, of lute plays with a lot of whatever. I mean, some places it's quite irrelevant. We're more interested in the teachings because the language gets a little foul at times. So Baba, a lot of people see various avatars in you. So Guruji used to also say कि मैं पहले भी मैं सी हूँ भी मैं तगी भी मैं. So people see whatever avatars they want to see in Guruji. Some see him as Krishna, some see him as Shivji, some see him as Shri Sai Baba. They say you are Data Guru and you are Lord Rama and you are Shiva. But who are you, Baba? So Baba's Sai responds, I am Allah's slave. I will always be Allah's servant. I want to be nothing but what Allah wants me to be. Who am I? I come from the One. I serve the One. In the One I repose. With the One I shall one day merge. But till the One decides what the One decides, I breathe the breath of Allah, will continue doing what His Master and Beloved wants out of me. There was a sigh that Kaz and Rabda could hear. The sigh came from the innumerable spirit bodies that had gathered to hear Baba speak. The place was so charged, the energy that circulated within Dwarka Mai reached out and cleansed all those who had come to meet Baba Sai. Now Kaz realized the importance of pilgrimages and being in the presence of the Master. The energy is so vibrant, so vast, and all pervasive that even when one cannot see or meet the Master or be in the sanctorum, or in front of the God, Goddess, fire, whoever presides in the holy place, the energy emitted does wonders, and best of all, the energy works on all. Sages, sinners, lay people, all like the rays of the sun, which never discriminates. So when we're sitting in a satsang, Guruji's energy, his light, it is being emitted on each and every devotee without any kind of discrimination. So even though we cannot see him, but that energy is working on each one of us. Therefore, to sit in silence and to be receptive to receive that energy is very important. Therefore, no phones. Guruji used to say, in today's world, people are taking photos of even the darbar. So, it really distracts those who are sitting around, and it distracts yourself also, because now you're focusing only on the darbar rather than connecting to the energy and God Himself. So we are connecting to the phone more than we are connecting to God. So Guruji used to say in his parlance, "Yaha ta meri vibration le lo, Yeah, phone the vibration level. So the choice is always ours. The free will is always ours. What do we want to attain once we are sitting in a satsang? Do we want to absorb that energy of Guruji's divinity? Or do we want to be on the phone and take the pictures of their bar, make sure they're absolutely perfect, so we can post them on Instagram and then count the likes? It is such a futile exercise because we are losing that time where we need to be just connected to him, to infuse ourselves with the divine bliss. So energy works on all. I just want to repeat this line because I think it's very important, because this is related to the way we sit in a satsang. So the energy of the satsang is so vibrant and so vast and all pervasive that even when one cannot see or meet the master or be in the sanctum sanctorum or in front of the god, goddess, fire, whatever presides in the holy place, the energy emitted to each one of us does wonders. And best of all, the energy works on everyone indiscriminately. The energy of the master is for all. It never discriminates. It is unconditionally and indiscriminately. It falls on each and every devotee. Now, how the energy is received, whether doors are shut or curtains put up to ward off the rays of the sun, that depends on each individual. Again, the choice is ours. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਣ ਆਇਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਂਦਾ. So we do not know how to receive because we are so distracted. We are so busy. Remember, Abdul, not many will tell this, but there have been, are, and will be thousands of avatars in the age of Kali. We know that, right? There's many, many masters right now who are earthbound because they are there to uplift each one of us. Every soul has to be uplifted right now because we're all living in darkness. We are living in Gaur Kali. Cares so Abdul write things down, but in his own quick way, as so to keep up with Baba. At this point, and always, there are nearly 20 avatars all living at one time, often known or unknown. Many avatars are not aware of their godhood. That way, Abdul, are we all not avatars? We come from him. We belong to him. We are filled with him. So we are avatars when most have their godhood under the wreckage and weight of karma. And so all avatars in various degrees of self-realization or are in ignorance. Then cares so Abdul write quickly what Baba dictated. Jal, water, and then Thali, land, and then Brahman, Yamuna. Okay, there were 4 avatars in Krityog: Matsaya, Kurna, Yaraha, and Naramsimha. And 3 avatars in the Treta: Yamuna, Parasurma, and Ram. And 2 avatars in Dwarpa Yug, Krishna and Balram. Thereafter, 2 avatars, Shisha and Kalanki, are listed, who are referred to in Islam as Mehdi. Okay, is this really? Okay. But Baba, the Sufis state that the world is looked after by many masters. Yes, but even here there are a lot of divisions or subdivisions. You have first the Kutub or Kutub Akhtab, who is the supreme head of all. Under him are 12 Kutubs or Qutbs. This has always been and will always be. If one of them leaves the body, another immediately takes his place. Then under the Kutub, in one goes, and then there are 2 Imams. Then you have 7 main Abdals who are in charge of the spiritual empire. Kaz now understood this as the spiritual dimensions, 7 dimensions being looked after by 7 Abdals. So are you getting all that I'm saying? You, as someday, there will be some Rabda here who might want to write about all this and this, that. Abdul, for you and me, there will be hundreds of thousands of devotees coming sometimes every day. And we will be visited every day. And they won't give me or you rest. Abdul, today, they do not recognize you. But tomorrow, because of your proximity with me, Abdul, you will be worshipped too. Abdul began to cry because he was a simple man. All he wanted was to serve his master. So even when Guruji was in his physical body, there were devotees who recognized his divinity. And on doing so, they insisted on spending more and more time with him. They wanted to do everything from cooking his food and spending time with him as much as they possibly could. They were such blessed souls. Of course, Guruji decided, but they really were the blessed souls who were constantly in Guruji's presence. Okay, now to go back to the conversation of Baba. Spirituality means to operate from the spirit. If you operate from the spirit, you operate from oneness. And if you operate from oneness, you can never go wrong. So a lot of people say, you are spiritual. But what does spiritual mean? It means operating from our value system. Our conduct is our true religion. Humanity, humility, and operating from the spirit, which is pure. So when we make decisions based on our wisdom, then we are on the right path. Mr. Baba, why is there so much fighting over God? Oh gosh, this is a very pivotal question. Today, in the name of God, we are killing each other. That is because mankind is essentially a bunch of power hungry idiots. They're not fighting over God, they're fighting for power over others, which is true. We do not fight for God, we are fighting over power. So smart businessmen brainwash those who are either vulnerable, gullible, or just plain stupid, and create and misinterpret their own version of the holy books. Thus, there are innumerable versions of the Vedas, Quran, Bible, Avesta, Granth Sahib, as each one interprets the book according to his or own reality and state of mind and intentions. Those who fight in the name of God have a special hell waiting for them. And the good news is that the hell is very secular. All those idiots who use God to create disharmony and hate and violence and murders are all there. Hindu, Muslim, bhai bhai, going through such spiritual, emotional, mental agony for doing what they did in the name of the most merciful. And just that I cannot begin to describe it to you. When the lower self realizes what it has done, the guilt, remorse, fear of what awaits them for countless lifetimes on earth is frightful, to say the least. So there are fanaticals in this world who, in the name of God, want to slander each other, slaughter each other, and that is downright criminal. But people have been misinterpreting the holy books for centuries. Rabda, there is a difference between spiritual and religious and fanatical. Nothing wrong in being religious, you play a part there too. Religion is a stepping stone to spirituality. Your being religious can appease the lower gods, but to make the one happy, our Lord and God, live and breathe through selfless love, compassion, and oneness. And that is being spiritual. When we embrace the whole humanity, that is spirituality. It means to operate from the spirit. If you operate from the spirit, you operate from oneness. And if you operate from oneness, you can never go wrong. But sometimes a soul is too caught up with technicalities, rigidness, and upbringing to go beyond religion, customs, and rituals. Like Guruji said, मैं तोड़े वहम और अहम दूर करन आया. So वहमों में नहीं रब, like we get into वहम even today. आप मीठा नहीं रखोगे या हलवा प्रसाद नहीं रखोगे सत्संग में तो कैसे bless होंगे? I get this all the time. How does it matter? You're a good human being. Is your intention pure? Are you doing this for God? Or are you doing this for one-upmanship, to have that extra dish on the thali? Now, what do you mean? What do I mean by lower gods? I mean those souls who have walked the path of rituals and code of conduct and prayers written down or handed down generation to generation, and they are no longer in the physical body. When an individual leaves the body, the journey continues in another dimension. We never really die. That is why life is eternal. We are carrying our samskaras along with us. So when an individual leaves the body, the journey continues in another dimension. While somebody who has spent lifetimes reaching a level of comprehending the code of conduct and religious conduct, that individual can help so many to be initiated in the same, with the heavens hoping that the new recruits eventually imbibe all theory, but move beyond customs and operate from selflessness and compassion. Again, we all are bound by what we've been taught as children, in terms of rituals and superstitions. So we have to unlearn so many things that we have learned and have an open mind and an open heart. So each religion has a strict code of prayers and rituals. 5-time prayers began with Prophet Zoroaster. All Zoroastrians are supposed to actually pray 5 times a day. Zoroastrianism is the oldest known religion, and the Prophet is the first known prophet of religion. Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, is not a religion, it is a way of life. Thus, the way of life doesn't have a prophet. So, a simple thing like praying 5 times has its different set of prayers, which Islam, the youngest religion under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad, brought down by Archangel Gabriel from the very breath of the Creator to prescribes. The prayers may be different, but they mean the same. Like one day, Guruji was sitting and he says, what is the difference between Hindu, Muslim, Christianity? And then he read, verses. I mean, he recited verses from the Quran, he recited verses from the Bible, and then he recited verses from the Gita. And he said, they're all one. They're all teaching us love. But mankind very conveniently is misinterpreting those words and creating conflict. The prayers may be different, but they mean the same. The way of praying will be different, but the essence, again, is the same. So imagine Zoroastrians and Muslims arguing with each other about whose prayer reaches first and or is more powerful or heard by the one first. Religion teaches you what to pray with, the words to pray, process of praying, the meaning of the prayers, the diction, the physical steps required while praying. Zoroastrians tie the sacred girdle called kusti around themselves, which has a particular prayer and process. While Muslims have to know how to stand, bend, kneel, and prostrate oneself while chanting their prayers. Religion will teach you even when to pray, but no religion or elder can teach you how to pray. Words which come from the mouth reach only a particular dimension and create a very subtle impact on the body, heart, mind, and aura. You may pronounce the words immaculately, but if the words aren't coming from the very breath of your essence, the very sigh of the soul, then those prayers might as well be verbalized by an intelligent parrot. So when we pray, we do Om Namah Shivaya Shivji Sarasa. When we chant, it really has to be chanted with emotion. It's not about getting the rhythm right or the words right. It is really about feeling the essence of the mantra. Then it reaches our soul. So religion, customs, and conduct are very important on the path, but it's an initiation on the path, and it's certainly not the destination. Very far away from the destination, in fact. So Guruji was also, one day he said, he was introducing me to someone, and he said, a very spiritual kuriya to me. So I said, Guruji, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He said, bahut changi cheez hai. Because your spirituality is your value system, your conduct is your true religion. So people are bound by, we can't do this and we can't do that. The rigidity doesn't allow us to liberate our souls. keeps us bound. What to do and not to do, and how to go about doing each thing, whether it is to perform prayers, religious ceremonies, the code of conduct, which would include diet, what to wear, what to offer, what to contribute. Everything is laid down and taught by those in the body and those who serve as guides in the spirit dimension. It could have come from the sages or the religious heads or high priests and movies of every religion. Yes, the advantage of following these sets of rules and regulations are that the individual is walking a path tread by the seniors of that particular faith. You said something about lower gods, Baba. Silly me. And I thought there was only one God. Okay, so I would suggest you refrain from using your lack of humor. The term lower gods is a way of describing those souls who have reached a stage of spiritual involvement, but due to their rigid mind frame, have got stagnant in their growth and their divine journey has come to a halt. So we can relate to this, right? People who are absolutely bound by rituals, their divine journey comes to a halt because there are no rituals. With Guruji especially, I mean, because Guruji is limitless, his teachings are boundless, but we are limiting him with our ritualistic mindset. So that does not take away the fact that there are many ways spiritual people whose religious and ritualistic experience and knowledge is used to train those in the physical body who want to walk the path laid down by our elders. These souls have, due to their rigid mind frame, become judgmental. Yes, they are following the Shariat or laws laid down by the elders of the community, but due to the knowledge and adherence of the ancient laws of religion, a certain rigidity, pride, ego, judgmental attitude has crept in and then formed roots moving very deep into the rugged sands of time. So these souls who are without doubt very pure, but in a very rigid manner, have got stuck in the spiritual quicksands. So even today, it is very important not to get stuck by our own judgmental attitude. I went to Dubai. I was sitting in a satsang, and the sangat said, "Oh, one sangat came and said we have to switch on all the lights of the house." And they had dimmed the lights so that they could meditate. But because one sangat had come from Delhi and told them you have to switch on all the lights because Guruji blesses through light. So then when I heard this, I said, but Guruji himself is light. I mean, whether you switch on the light, whether you dim the light, he sees your intention, he sees your love. Why are we again limiting him? Why are we making him so small? He is boundless, he is eternal, he is beyond our words or even our description. We cannot, words fall short to describe him. But people are making it so ritualistic. It's so sad because with Guruji, it is truly the journey of the spirit. As God's, as God can't be but the highest of the high, and there is only one God. Some call him Ram, some Kali, some Ahura, some Allah. The fact of the matter is that there are innumerable people following different paths, and there are people who are kept in charge of those paths. And as they are an authority of some kind and degree, they kind of become like lower gods. Most of those are rigid and fanatical about following the laid down rules of do's and don'ts. Usually, after they leave their body, for whatever time frame they had to spend in the spirit plane, are assigned work to do. Usually, their work is to guide those in the physical body who are keen on following the rules of religious conduct. That the fact that these lower gods or spirits are so convinced that the path to God is only via the dictates and technicalities of what the holy books prescribe, they refuse to see that there is something far more subtle, more powerful. The easiest way to please God and Master is following the path of the higher heart. Lord, love is a defrosted duck, lower gods. Now comes higher heart. I mean, Baba, do you really spend in conceiving these terms? Because I know you're a busy God, but I was just wondering. Baba just smiles. Before we come to the higher heart, we come to religion. Now understand this, Rabda. There is nothing wrong with being religious and following rituals and customs. Each ritual and custom come with a reason. Take ancestor worship. Remember, each individual is an amalgamation of his or her karma and DNA. The karmic blueprint is decided by the individual's actions, thoughts, words, and deeds, and intentions of past lives, and also the accumulation of this life. This decides the individual's present life journey in the body. The DNA decides the looks, personality, tendencies, health, and a lot of other things. Good health and wealth, more often than not, comes from ancestors and karma combined. But how many remember ancestors apart from once a year during the prayers for the departed? Being in remembrance and gratitude towards ancestors is very important. How will parents feel if the children ignore and forget the parents? If the parents are not thought of, or there is no gratitude shown towards them? After a while, sadness enters the heart and soul of the parents. And after a while, blessings and prayers that naturally come from deep within the parents slowly start drying up. Do you have any idea how important the blessings of parents and grandparents are? Similarly, the ancestors too feel ignored, slighted, hurt, insulted, and pained. The blessings stop pouring down, and discord and disharmony begins to seep within families. Remember, the ancestors may or may not send down ill will, but the goodwill and blessings and protection stop coming forth. Often, ancestors are the guides to the family living on Mother Earth, and the guidance stops. The family may have everything, but not have peace and happiness in their lives. Or there could be continuous obstacles coming their way. Eventually, the family disintegrates. There are fights among the siblings. And after a point, no male heir to continue the family lineage. Okay, so we shall end there because the chapters are extremely long, and I'm sure that everyone is feeling there's a lot to take away from this. It's when I would sit with Guruji, I would always ask him that Guruji, is okay if I'm not religious, and he would just smile and laugh and say, of course it's okay if you're not religious, because I never was. And he would say, Changa insan bano. That is your true religion. And be spiritual, which means, again, his teachings, be compassionate, be kind to every kind, be loving, be God loving, and live in God consciousness. That is a very practical way of living. Rather than embroiling ourselves, what happens if we don't perform those rituals that are being embedded in us? Then we become superstitious. And there's nothing to gain in superstitions, because then we become miserable that I did not do this and I did that. Too many do's and don'ts, which Guruji never had. He used to say, मैं practical guru हूँ, practical दिखाने के रब है. अपना मंत्र करो, चंगा कर्म करो, अच्छा नहीं कर सकते तो बुरा भी मत करो, अच्छा बोल नहीं सकते तो बुरा भी ना बोलो. एक चुप सौ सो. So Guruji's taught us, silence is golden. We don't always have to prove ourselves to be right. We need to just be at peace with ourselves, to live in calmness, contentment, and to let his mantra jap flow in our hearts. So, thank you for today.
Thank you, Auntie. And I just have something, a small thing to share. When you were talking about the different religions and all is one. So we have a very nice Pakistani Sangat over here in Abu Dhabi. And
Nice.
she had a very similar question to Guruji. And Guruji came in her dream and told her Allah's very, very uncommon name and said, "Wo main hi hu."
Wow.
And she was sharing that dream with us, and she was saying that it was so profound that that name, I don't remember the name because it's properly said in that Muslim dialect. So she said that he came and said, he came and took Allah's name, and he said, and he gave his darshan in that, just to
Wow.
tell her that, it's me.
It's all one.
It's all one, and it's just me. So it is really true that, everywhere it's just Guruji, and all the roads lead to him.
Absolutely. He's light. So, we really make him small and we restrict him by making even satsangs ritualistic. Sometimes Sangat is doing that. And sometimes we don't even follow the Maryada. Like Guruji is big on discipline because he wants us to gain the best we can, from being connected to him. So he wants us to up our game in the world of spirituality.